Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. The talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me through benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcasts. People of Distinction is internationally syndicated solely due to the love and support that you all continue to give. We're available across all major distributors, and as long as you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. Now sit back and strap in, because on the line with us today, we have the impressive Michael Maxon. Now we're going to be discussing his incredible book, The Need for Greed, Dracula's Curse. Man, okay, listen. Now, there's a lot here, because that's the book that we're slated to discuss. But man, Michael has been putting in some work, all right? He has written a number of additional titles. Now, he's also professionally known as Dr. Johnny Delirious, and that's where you're going to find the other books. It's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, but most importantly, head on over to his website, drjohnny.net. There, you're going to gather more information on him, on this book, all of the other titles that he has written, and I promise you, there's a number of them that you're going to want to get your hands on. Again, that's drjohnny.net. And I quickly want to take this opportunity and point out the fact that Michael was brought to us by Author Reputation Press. So for writers out there listening in who have gone through their process and now you need some assistance moving the book you just worked so tirelessly to create, well, if that's you, head on over to authorreputationpress.com and gather all the ways that their fantastic team is more than equipped to help you do just that. And people, listen, it is an absolute pleasure to have Michael here on the line. Sit back, strap in. I promise you, man, you look at that subtitle, Dracula's Curse, and you're like, wait, is this a sci-fi novel? No, it's not, okay? Brace yourself. You are in store for a treat, because when we were doing research in preparation for today's discussion, I constantly got hit with that old adage, and I'm going to slightly paraphrase because I can't remember exactly the way the words go, but you're all going to remember it the moment I mentioned it, right? Like, it's a famous line we've all heard. Those who fail to learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. Or something like that, right? I mean, maybe I missed a word here or there, but that's essentially the quote. And this book, now listen, it's a memoir. So we're going to learn directly from Michael's experience and follow him on his journey. But you're going to come across that exact same notion because, history whispers a warning that we've all stopped hearing. See, empires don't die in a single dramatic moment. They erode one corrupted value at a time. And that's where we find this book. Man, let me tell you, Michael is here. He makes a chilling case that our republic is breathing its last breaths, right? Or at least approaching that. I don't want to put words in his mouth. But there are going to be some stark parallels that one can make when we look at the current state of our country and we look at the fall of the Roman Empire. Now, it's not so black and white. There are a lot of areas of gray, and there's a lot of nuance here. So trust and believe, we're only going to scratch the surface in this short discussion, and that's why it's going to be on you to make sure you head on over and purchase your copies. But I promise you, this is going to be a riveting one, man. Let's get it started. Michael, first and foremost, welcome to the network. Thank you for being a guest, man. How you doing today?
All right, Benji, it's great to be with you.
Well, listen, man, it is great to have you. We're looking forward to the discussion. I think your book is remarkably compelling in the correlation that it makes. Now, again, I understand that this is going directly through your experience, so not everything is so neatly tied, but man, this is a great conversation starter, and we're looking forward to it. Let's dive right in. I have a lot of information that I want to uncover. But first and foremost, tell us a little bit more about your book, The Need for Greed, Dracula's Curse.
I'm glad you brought out, about, different empires slowly eroding and sometimes suddenly eroding, because I wrote the book about my experience, but then, I had all the success and then I had all these tragedies. And like, oh my God, when I turned around after a lot of it was over, I said, this is exactly what's happening in our country.
Yeah.
So my book, I'm showing the parallels between my life and our country and how it happens over and over and over again. And I actually don't just give the problem about my life or the country. I actually provide the solution. So my book is actually a formula to avoid this from happening to you, because I'm like, oh my God, I don't want this to happen to anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I wrote the book.
I think you did it in such a beautiful way. Not only writing the book, making the juxtapositions that you're making, but also the title. Man, listen, as someone who, people of distinction, yes, we have our broadcast, but we're a digital marketing firm, right? So we spend the majority of our time focusing on things from a marketing perspective. And I tell you, The Need for Greed got that. Very straightforward. It's compelling. But Dracula's Curse is going to really make people look at it a little differently, because you're not really sure. But once you dive in, you analyze that metaphor and you're like, okay, I'm liking what's happening here, right? Because in your book, you're not just, you frame this quote unquote need for greed, not just as a moral failing, but as a literal curse, like Dracula's bite, right? Well, in this metaphor, I want to know, man, like, who is doing the bleeding? Is it the individual? Is the American dream itself the victim that's been drained of its blood by these corporate and governmental quote unquote vampires? Like, talk to us a little bit more about that metaphor and why it perfectly fits.
Well, I'm so glad you saw that that correlation. And basically, I had incredible success, okay, in my marriage and everything. And, but then when the tragedy hit and the financial part, I had incredible financial success. So all of a sudden I realized that, oh my gosh, maybe it wasn't so much the greed on my part. Maybe it's all the people I was working with. But because I was working with them, that helped, tumble my empire down. And then my wife had a big meltdown herself, and I don't want to dwell too much on the tragedies, but killed our son. I lost my partner after about 4 years of big success, because we had a national magazine. Okay. I mean, I was interviewing a millionaire almost every week, at least 2 or 3 a month.
Wow.
So it was like, things were great. They were going really good. I mean, you couldn't dream of a better dream for the rest of your life. I said, wow, this is what I want to do. But then, all the things that started happening, too many people we're involved with had what I called, a curse. It's not so much greed that's the problem, but the need for greed. Because, when does the ambition all of a sudden develop into an obsession? And when that happens, that's when the need takes hold. That's the curse, is the need. Because, oh my God, okay, you heard about back in 1929, during the stock market crash, and, he had, hundreds of millions of dollars. But then he lost about $90 million. Well, he jumped out the window. Oh my God, my life is over. Well, he still had a house. He still had a family.
Right.
He still had a couple $1 million even in 1929. And yet he thought it was all over. See, the need for greed, the curse got him to the point where he thought he lost everything. Okay. Because like I said, when does ambition all of a sudden turn into obsession? And when that happens, when you change that corner and turn that corner, then that's when the curse happens. And, my wife and I did, I met her and took her, and we fell in love in Transylvania. Okay. So, I mean, it's like, and at the time we were in love, and let's go to Dracula's castle. We spent a week up there, and this was summertime. So, it was like, hills of Transylvania are beautiful in the summertime. And anyway, so we went to Dracula's castle. So after all this horrible stuff happened, killed my son. Then my partner died 2.5 months later, of prostate cancer. So then the magazine, the business just folded because I couldn't see, all the girls, oh my God, we love little Alex, or my son, or we love Tom, my partner.
Yeah.
Well, everything just crashed. And then I realized, oh my gosh, this is exactly, because when I saw, about that time, I saw him wrestling Bernie Madoff and see, he had all these people sold on his hedge fund to invest. Well, see, they suffered from the need for greed, and he played on that to bring them in. And it happens to empire. And it's not just for money. It's for power. It's for territory. It's for, possession, the power over people. Like Genghis Khan, he had the need for greed, and he just kept on going. And, so this is what I was trying to bring out in the book, that my life was such a tragedy. And then I saw these parallels in our country, and then I saw the bigger formula of how to avoid that. So I wrote the book. And, is it a curse? Well, you could call it a curse. You could call it an obsession that became part of the need for greed, because the need, that is really the curse.
People, I'm telling you, man, this is such a compelling book. Remember, you got to head on over to drjohnny.net. This book is going to be under Michael Maxon. But remember, to gather all of the other ones that he has in store, you got to look at what he goes by professionally. And that's Dr. Johnny Delirious, The Need for Greed, Dracula's Curse. That's the anchor for today. But I promise you, there is so much more. You're going to want to head on over there and purchase your copies. My follow-up question, and listen, I might be jumping ahead here, but I think it's such a crucial transition. You're making a very important delineation here. Making sure that we're not recognizing, like it's that adage of like guns don't kill people, people kill people, right? Like money itself is not the evil, corrupt thing here. You're specifying it's the need for that. Well, another argument that you're making in the book, Michael, is you highlight the stark contrast of failed CEOs getting bonuses while taxpayers are seen as these quote unquote easy kills. Now, again, a lot more nuance to that statement, but beyond the anger, let's transition now. So we've acknowledged the main core of the book. Well, let's start to transition now to a potential solution, or at least approaching the solution. Beyond the anger, what's the one concrete action that a regular person can take to remove themselves from this game and stop being seen, like in your words, as the easy kill?
Well, that's such a great question, because it in such a good way you put it, because see, when you're weak, that's when people are going to take over, just like, the hurt little wildebeest, the lion gets him, right? Mm-hmm. Because he's easy kill. And so, with me, Bank of America took my house when all this stuff happened. Well, I had a seller, for a quick sale, a short sale, and they ignored me. So I lost my house because they saw that they could get away with it.
Yeah.
See, so this is the key. When you're, everything's down, like you feel like you're a nail and that hammer just keeps pounding you.
Mm-hmm.
All you got to do is change your perception and change your attitude, because when you change your attitude, see, people won't pick up on, oh, I'm hurting. Oh my God, what am I going to do? You got to just totally get out of that. So people perceive you as not being weak. That's one of the ways that you avoid the curse. You got to act bold.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be strong, because I have the blowfish image. I'm originally from Florida, and I did a lot of scuba diving. Okay, I went scuba diving in the Bahamas and the Keys and everything. And the blowfish actually is a small little fish. I mean, it's this scrawny little fish. But all of a sudden, but when the big fish come around, he blows himself way up. So then they don't bother him because it's too big to bite.
Yeah.
And otherwise they would gobble him up if he's his normal size. So the blowfish philosophy, that's a good analogy for people to remember. If things are down and things aren't going well, just be the blowfish. Just puff yourself up, have a good attitude, and fake it till you make it.
Michael, thank you very much, man. You've offered some gems here today that we are able to benefit from. Now, as we close, I know you mentioned that you have a very important announcement that you'd like to make, and that's where I want to go next, man. Take us out. What is the announcement that you'd like to tell our listening audience?
I'm so excited because I've got 2 studios. They're looking at this to greenlight it as a major motion picture. I kind of leaning toward one, but neither one. I'm kind of playing one against the other in one way just to see if they give me a better choice, because one's offering a lot of money, whereas the other's like already written a screenplay and asked me if I like it and blah, 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 wants to give me the credit. So I got two studios to pick from. And I haven't made my choice yet publicly. And that's why I can't really reveal who they are, because I haven't made my public choice yet. But that's a big thing for me. They see the potential they both see it. One wants to just take it and run with it, just give me a bunch of money. And the other one already sees what they want to do with the screenplay and everything and presented that. And it is fantastic what they want to do. They think they think they can get some big names to star in it and be Michael Maxon in the movie. So that's one thing I'm really excited about. And, we're going to see what happens, Benji, because, that's an exciting thing for me.
That is very exciting, man. Congratulations on all of that. And listen, we wish you nothing but continued success in all of your endeavors. It's not a surprise to me to see that there are so many interested parties, because this is something I can perfectly see on the Hollywood screen. As a television series or even as a feature film, people, listen, it starts with this book, okay? The big screen is set. It's coming. It's going to be here soon enough. But for right now, the best thing that you can do, head on over to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, drjohnny.net. Pick up copies of The Need for Greed, Dracula's Curse. While you're at it, remember, check out the other titles that he has. There's a number of them that you're going to want to get your hands on. It starts with this book, but it definitely doesn't end here. If I'm you, I'm picking it up not only to learn and hear his story, but let's analyze. Let's read in between the lines. Let's look at what he's saying. And then let's look at where we are in our lives, man, because do we see some correlation here? And if so, how could we use this to benefit ourselves, not just to pass the time on a rainy day? You know where to go. Pick up your copies today. Michael, this has been an absolute pleasure, man. Such an honor. Keep up the fantastic work. And once again, thank you for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Thank you, Benji.